Morning, Joe and the Pro. I'm the Prez, WagerTalk.com, and we've got Ralph Michaels with us, college basketball guru, stats, trends, and systems extraordinaire from Cal Sports. You can find him at WagerTalk.com, and the dude is rolling. Thanks for coming on today, brother. You still killing it?
Yeah, absolutely. 11 of 12 winning days with college basketball. Top-rated plays 4% or higher. 10-2 the last 12 with a 5% play going tonight.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. I mean, you're since March 2nd, you are 67%, 35-17, which is ludicrous. As you said, 10-2 in your top plays. Tonight's a monster, Ralph. 150% guarantee over at WagerTalk.com means if for some reason this play loses, you get 150% of your money back in wager bucks. That's the play of the night, period. End of story. Ralph's 5% college basketball play. It's absolutely must win. And Teddy has a 5% NBA play tonight. And he's on a 9-2 NBA run. What a night at Wager Talk. I've got a 5-pack going in NHL. Gianni, the Greek, is rolling with a 5-unit play in college basketball. Really exciting stuff at WagerTalk.com. And really a great time to be betting. Ralph, we're going to talk some college basketball. It's the week of the madness. I'm sure you know about that.
Oh, is there something going on? Well, You know what? Two things I want to mention, Prez. Number one, you forgot the most important thing about tonight. Teddy's got a 5% play, and it's $2 at Wager Talk. Not 30, just $2. Amazing.
Ralph, you are hired.
Secondly, March Madness starts Thursday. There's all this hype about March Madness. There is more value in the NIT, CBI, and CIT. That's why I have a 5% tonight. I may actually have a 5% tomorrow as well. You have teams that aren't motivated playing motivated teams. More value in these small tournaments. Don't look past them.
It's really a great point, Ralph. And, I asked Teddy this question yesterday, and I'm going to ask you. And, maybe you have some stats on this or not, but if you look at teams that don't make the madness but feel slighted, I think Oregon is one of them this year. Is that right?
So Oregon won the Pac-12.
No,
they're at 12 seed.
Right.
They seem slighted, but they are in the tournament.
No, but there are some teams that didn't make the tournament that do feel slighted. And my question to you is, firstly, from my perspective, I would rather play in the NIT. Go into the NIT as the best team or the top 3-4 team in that tournament, then play Duke in the first round and be out. I don't understand why anybody who's playing Duke or Gonzaga or North Carolina or etc. in the first round is excited to be in this tournament. It makes no sense to me. My question to you is, do you know how teams who get slighted and miss out on March Madness but get put into the NIT or the CBI, how do they do? Are these teams hungry? Are these teams the teams that end up winning those tournaments, or are they just pissed off and want to call it a season?
Perez, they are automatic fades for me in the first round. Those teams that get slighted, there's only a handful of them, and they're different each year. You might have 3, you might have 5. But now the first 4 teams out are the number 1 seeds in the NIT. I will not play on one of those teams in round 1. I will either play against them or not play the game. Now, let me tell you this, though. The motivation does shift. After you win 1 or 2 games in the NIT, you know that you can go to Madison Square Garden for the Final Four in the final game, cut down the nets. Your motivation then changes to let's win this whole damn thing.
Right.
Beyond those first couple rounds, when you're a big favorite against the lower seeds, certainly a time to fade them.
Great point, Ralph. Listen, Gonzaga was plus 550 yesterday. Same with North Carolina. We have big line move on that. Gonzaga is now plus 600 to win it all. North Carolina plus 700. And there's been line moves everywhere. Let's put Duke aside. Plus 240, nobody could go near that bet. That's just craziness. Is there any value anywhere on the futures market to win it all?
Well, I am well invested in the Zags. I played them back at 9-1. And they were as low as 5-1 a couple weeks ago, and it depends where you got shop those futures. They're not set in stone. There's such a variance. But I think that Virginia has a shot. I mean, people talk about them losing. That's extra motivation. The only teams to win the NCAA tournament in the last 12 years have been Ken Pom top 20 offense and defensive efficiencies. Those only teams, Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina, and Gonzaga. There's only 7 teams this year that fit that mold. Don't try to find that cutesy team and bet a future on them. The only team outside of the Ken Pom top 20s in the last 12 years, Connecticut twice when they won it, they were a special team that had a lot of talent and great coaching. So, you know what? Have fun, but don't invest money in teams that realistically aren't going to get there.
You know, Teddy talks about the West Regional, considers it the toughest division by far. Gonzaga, we spoke about 6-5 to win the West. No chance I can lay money on that. Michigan at 3-1 and Texas Tech at 9-1. But you've even got some teams like the Gators at 50-1 and Florida State at 6-1 that could make noise. Any sleeper pick in the West that you think could make it to the Final Four?
I have Texas Tech losing to Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. So obviously they're the team that I believe could get there. They play elite defense. They have the go-to scorer. And they're the type of team that, with size-wise, can give the Zags some trouble if they're facing them in the Elite Eight.
And then we look at the South, Ralph. You know, Villanova, 12-1. I mean, this team, this is an experienced coaching staff. This is a team that does turn it on. And Wisconsin, 20-1, which is very interesting. Obviously, Virginia is the favorite at 6-5, but this team falls asleep come March. We've seen it year in and year out. Cannot be betting Virginia. But you've got Kansas State at 15-1, and this Kansas State Wildcat team has had an outstanding season. Cincinnati is a good team at 15-1. Surely there's some live dogs in the South Regional.
What are the odds for that number 12 seed Oregon Duck team?
Oregon Ducks are 20-1, and you know, it's funny you mention that because Teddy likes that team as well. He considers their coach the best coach in all of basketball.
I have Oregon going. It's Oregon or Virginia coming out of that bracket. I think Oregon is worth a bet to get to the Final Four. I think they're worth a bet to get out of that region. They're a team that lost their best player, Bol after 7 games. Manute Bol's son, 7'2", 5-star recruit. They planned their entire offseason around him. It took them a while to now refurbish their team when he was out early in the year. They have won 8 straight. They have covered 8 straight. After allowing 61 points to UCLA 9 games ago, in the second half, they have not allowed 61 points to all but one team. They're allowing 42% shooting. They have an elite defense. They have an elite coach who's been there and done that. The Ducks don't look at him as a 12 seed. They won the Pac-12. They're red hot.
And they're 20-1 to get through the South. Ralph, Midwest Regional, North Carolina 8-5. Kentucky 3-1. Houston 5-1. And this Houston team's going to be a tough out. And the Jayhawks at 10-1. But then you've got teams like Iowa State and Auburn both at 8-1. Either of those teams can do well here. I think this is a very competitive regional bracket. Is there anything that stands out to you regional futures-wise here?
I have Iowa State and Kentucky meeting, and Iowa State is a team that, again, you won the Big 12. You're playing close by the first couple rounds. You have 3 guards that could play point guard. There's no other team in the country that has that elite level of a backcourt. Whittington, a couple-year starter for them, is backing up at guard. They can go the entire way. I'm not sure who I'm picking, Iowa State or Kentucky, to come out of there, but I like those two teams.
Ralph, the East is so tough to talk about. I mean, really, the only team that could beat Duke is Duke. I can't see Izzo's Michigan State Spartans running with this Duke team. Is there any team, Maryland, Louisville, Va Tech, LSU, is there any team that could give the Blue Devils a run for their money?
Well, I wouldn't mind backing Michigan State just because you're getting value because all the money's on Duke. Now, if Duke gets a player tweaked early, that's probably what you're going to need. Duke not at 100%. If Duke's at 100%, playing at 100% level, they win the national championship. But Michigan State's that type of team that can slow them down enough, has length on defense, has athletic players that can slow down Zion. So, while the Sparties aren't a team I expect to beat them, if I had to bet someone in that bracket, it would be them.
He's Ralph Michaels. I'm the Prez. You're watching Morning Joe and the Pro. You can see us every single day, Monday to Friday at WagerTalk TV. Ralph, I went 18-7 in college basketball last March Madness. I have a special up and running at WagerTalk right now. $125 for the rest of my college basketball season. Use the promo code CBB125. Brother, I hear you've got something to give us, a couple of systems that are worth looking at. So I hand it over to you.
You know what? We talk about the NIT being a different tournament and teams having motivation and not having motivation early. Well, some coaches treat it and they have fun, but you don't get that same type of defensive intensity you do as the NCAA. Plus, you're playing at a home court. How is this angle, Prez? Teams at home as a dog or a single-digit favorite. So that's about 80% of the teams. You're just not a double-digit favorite. And the line is over 147. So obviously you have some fast-paced teams. The total in the NITs, 33-10 to the over, 77%. That's Memphis, San Diego, Texas, South Dakota State, and Davidson Lipscomb for tonight. All three of those fit into the 77% over system that you just heard.
He's Ralph Michaels. I'm the Prez. Ralph, give us a game tonight. I know you like one. We just spoke about it. Arkansas Razorbacks versus Providence. 17-5 for Arkansas, 18-5 for Providence. 63% of the general public is on Providence. They're -6 tonight. The over and under is 144, which, I mean, it's funny. You look at these teams and, Arkansas put up a 50 last game, and the game before that they were at 82. Providence put up a 62 last game, and the game before that they were 80. Over and under is really tough here. As far as the line goes, I don't know where to go. This game is an outright pass for me, but maybe you got something I'm missing.
I do. I'll tell you what. This is one of my 3 plays that I have up at WagerTalk for all access customers. It is not the 5%, but it is a 3% actual client play, and it's on Providence. The Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence will have a sizable crowd tonight. The NIT only has a few days to sell plays. Only certain teams can draw a crowd. On the Arkansas side, you have their best players sitting out. He's completely healthy, but he's declaring for the draft like players did in the bowl games, and he's not going to play. Well, Daniel Gafford is their number 1 scorer, their number 1 rebounder by far. Providence has a strong front court. They're going to out-rebound the heck out of the Hogs. The Hogs' pressing defense does not work on the road like it does at home. Providence wins this game. They're very excited about being in the NIT. They advance and could very well win the NIT this year.
Ralph, have you looked at all towards Thursday? We've got, the lines are up. Michigan State, for instance, -18.5 against Bradley. That seems like a very large number for a team that keeps a slow pace. Kansas -7 against Northeastern. That seems like a short number for a team like Kansas who actually could put a run down, and so on and so forth. Have you taken a look at Anything for Thursday that you can maybe talk about?
I have, and let me just point out, double-digit favorites in the tournaments, 30 and 36, 46% the last couple years. But if you are a team with a win percentage of 90% or higher, that means you are 30 and 3. You are an elite team. You are not worried about this first-round game. Those teams with a win percentage of 90% or higher that are a double-digit favorite in the tournament, 3 and 16 against the spread. That's fade Virginia, Gonzaga, and Houston. Now, I am on this Oregon team. I talked about it. Wisconsin, being a 5 seed, has to ship over to San Jose. Oregon gets to stay on the West Coast in California. It's a favorable seed. I told you how hot they are. This Wisconsin team has completely underimpressed for me down the stretch. Oregon will be one of the plays my customers, all access customers, will be receiving. I am on the Ducks.
He's Ralph Michaels, and I'm the Prez, and that, my friend, is Morning Joe and the Pro. Got to decide. I'll have Drew Martin on tomorrow. Again, more college basketball. Drew's doing really well of late in college hoops. He runs sportsmemo.com, so make sure to check that out. Make sure to buy Ralph's 5-unit play tonight. It's absolute must play. You've won 11 of your last 12 games. You're absolutely on fire. Listeners, check out Puck Time. It's close to a 40-minute show. There's tons of NHL on tonight. And you know, Ralph, Alex, Andrew, and I were talking about this yesterday. This is the time to bet hockey. This is the time to bet NBA. This is not the time to bet college basketball. Yet, 80% of the volume coming in is going to be on college basketball. The bookmakers are going to have these lines super sharp. There's going to be a ton of value in hockey.
You know, absolutely. And you're right. We're doing the WagerTalk videos today on Tuesday, early because of March Madness. Marco and Dave Koken and I are doing the podcast today, Tuesday, early because of March Madness. The entire world is revolved around March Madness now. Like I said, that's why there's value on these off tournaments, and that's why there's value on the other sports.
We're out of here, brother. Thanks for joining us. I know you're so busy today. You're doing media literally all day. Enjoy it and be well. Take care of yourself.
Thanks, Prez.